Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness. So I'm trying out a new timer and I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, it's so good to be with you here. For those of you who don't know me, I am Eva Gregory. I'm the founder of the Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur Community and the Enlightened Business Success Academy, where we help you integrate inner guidance with the proven practical business strategies that are working today so that you consistently attract more of your divine clients without compromising your spirit and values. And so today is our weekly Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur training, and we are focused on how to master your message and share your truth. All right. So we're wanting to clarify what authentic messaging really means, because this is what it's all about. This is not, by the way, about your elevator statement. This is about who you are, the stand you take in the world, and what you do to help those that you serve, okay? And this is about gaining enough confidence that you're proud to take a stand for your truth and feel good about making the offers to your divine market that you know you can help them with. So if you think about, let me give you a scenario. So you finally decide to become a coach or a healer or some type of spiritual entrepreneur. And this is maybe after years of giving away free advice to your family and your friends. And maybe you've seen their successes. And so certainly if they're getting successes, there must be other people out there who could benefit from your wisdom and your experience, right? So you open your virtual doors and you start posting on social media, and you're hoping that you grow your following, but there's not much thought put into planning these posts, okay? And so they will slide through the news feed, mostly unread. So forget about the likes and the comments and the shares. I know that this is just a brief overview, but it also showcases an example that I call wishful marketing, all right? You're hoping that someone other than your mom will like your posts. You're hoping that you attract enough people every day with your cute memes, with your number of followers, hoping those followers will increase. Let me just say that this message is equivalent to, or this message, but this method is equivalent to a long haul, simply because you don't have a clear message. So what makes you special, so special that people want to work with you? What type of experience do you have to offer? Why are you in the business you're in? What are your business values? What's your mission? So defining your business message along with who your divine clients are. So we need to understand that too. And you need to know your why. That's the reason you started this business. Why did you start this business? Why do you have a passion for what you do? This is paramount to your success. So instead of just trying to reach anyone in these whole mass of social media, now you'll have a clear description of who you can help and who you can benefit working with, and who will benefit from you, from your programs and your offers and your services, okay? So your reason for starting a business needs to be big enough that it inspires you day in and day out, okay? So I just want to stop here for a moment and address some of you who I think might be going, but if only I go after a certain group of people, then I'm going to limit myself too much. I hear this all the time. Oh, but that niche is so small. I won't have enough people. I know what you're thinking. I understand the way of thinking. I used to have those same thoughts myself when I first started out. And of course, you can reach millions of people on Facebook. So if that's the case, why would you want to identify a target of maybe 50,000? Well, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but the answer is simple. You want a smaller number of engaged fans and followers rather than a large number of people who don't take action, right? So your divine market, who you'll attract by having that strong message, laser focused message, will be the people who find you relatable. They will be the ones who resonate with you. Your experience might be similar to theirs. Maybe you've overcome a similar obstacle and they're finding you inspiring as a result of that. And maybe they just love your humor. Maybe they like your coaching style. These are the people who will invest with you. They will invest in your programs and services. They will find value in your content. All right. And so these people are your community. Okay. These are your people. This is your divine market. Do you think businesses with unclear messages are successful? Think about what even an unsure message says about the caliber of that business. If you're not sure, think back to a personal situation where maybe you've met someone, maybe you were that someone, or they were unsure of themselves, okay? Maybe it was at a conference, maybe it was some live event, and just think about, how did that person behave? Were they confident? Were they in the center of things? Were they interacting with others? Or were they kind of more the wallflower, kind of sitting back in the shadows? Lack of confidence is going to affect your outward body language, whether it's in personal or business situations. So do you cave to clients who ask you for a discount on your programs and services? This is another one that I see people doing. They talk like, oh my gosh, but they wanted a discount. So the way to get them is to give them the discount. That's not true. That's not true. You want to look at who is your divine market. If you're wanting to position yourself to attract high-end clients, you have to be very clear on your message and your stand that you take, and then you take that stand. Okay. Do you struggle with setting your prices that are too low? This is another very common thing that I work with my clients on. And these are just two examples of where you need a confidence boost, not a boast. Do not boast, but you do need a confidence boost. Okay. And the best way to boost that confidence is to start with a strong message that you can stand behind. Once your message is clear, first of all, in your mind, then content creation, email marketing, social media marketing, the Facebook lives that you do, all of that becomes so much easier. We have a lot to get through here that I want to give you. So let's just dive right into the 6 steps that I've identified for helping you to master your message and share your truth in a way that feels good to you, that has you standing in your power. And when you're standing in that power and you're sharing your authentic message, that is when your divine market so resonates with you. All right, so before I get into that, I just want to see if I can find, I'm on StreamYard. Just seeing if I can't see any of the, hurry, I'm just looking over at my other monitor here to see if I can see some of you. Okay, so I am not being able to see it for whatever reason today, so I'm just going to keep going. What I would encourage you to do, whether you're here with me live, thank you very much, or you're catching this on the replay, thank you very much. You can still put your comments below. I will come back and I will be responding to those. So if you've got questions about anything that's coming up, or you have comments to share, I always love that. That inspires me to keep going, right? All right, step 1, you want to gain a razor sharp clarity to master your message and share your truth. All right, so do you even know what the core message is? So that's the first thing for you to think about. What is your core message of your business? If you have a core message, do you feel like maybe it could use a little bit of oomph? Does it represent who you are and what you believe? So your message is always the underlying theme. It is the philosophy. It is the ideology that drives your business. Okay. So your message is not the same as your why, which is why you're in business, how you got where you are, right? That's your story. So the message is different from the why, and it's different from your story of how you got where you are. Now they can all be tied together. Your message shines a light on your core beliefs, and it ultimately connects you with your divine clients. Okay. Some Entrepreneurs will start out with one message and then it shifts over time. So once you have your message, don't just assume it's in concrete. As I like to say, everything is liquid, nothing's in concrete, but you want to start with where you are and go with that message until you feel it needs to be refined. Okay. But just know that it can shift over time. A lot of entrepreneurs have a message, but it might feel a little stifled. Just check in with your own. Does it feel stifled, or it can feel sugar-coated? Okay. And so just check in with your own message, or as you're coming up with your message right now, as we're talking today, you want to make sure that it's coming from your heart. You know, if you just, I'm a stickler for telling it like it is, right? So if you just tell it like it is and you're coming from your heart, they're going to feel the authenticity in that message. So kind of feel, are you stifling it or is it sugar coated? Make sure that what you're doing is really, I almost want to say raw truth, right? Some entrepreneurs don't even have a message. And a lot of times what I found when folks are struggling with their messages, they're almost afraid to take a stand for something, or this is a huge one, they don't want to offend anyone. Guys and gals, we have to get over that one. When you stop yourself from saying what you want to say, you wind up feeling like you're not saying anything meaningful, or you're shouting into the abyss. And when you're not saying anything meaningful, you cannot possibly connect with your divine clients or your divine market, at least not authentically, right? You are not connecting authentically because you're not actually being authentic. All right. I know, because I was one of those. I was not telling people about my ability to tap into source. I wasn't talking about inner guidance. I had my business stuff over here and my message was about business. And then I had this other side of me with the inner guidance. And then I started actually doing work on that with folks separate. And it started to reflect in my business. And what I came to know is you have to be authentic. You have to be your true self. Be willing to share who you really are. And that includes all of you, spirituality, your experiences, your wisdom. Okay. And a solid message that includes all of who you are and what you take a stand for will help you cut through the noise. It will abolish these algorithms, and it's going to ease the ache of those crappy email open rates that you might be experiencing, or on social media, the low engagement, or worse yet, no or low sales. All right. So your message needs to be your true message. It is the heart of the work that you are here to do. So if you are wanting to be known and you're wanting to be recognized for the work that you do in the world, this is the time right now to get clear on your message. What is your truth? Okay. So most of us know who we are and what we believe. We're just not sharing it with the world. And that was me for a few years until I finally got the message, right? And I started to bring it together. And, you know, as soon as I did, things just started to open up. And it's the very thing that sets me apart from other people who are in my field. Okay. And you are the same. You are all unique. And what you bring to the table, even if you have something that seems similar to what other people are offering, it is very unique to you when you share yourself fully. Okay. And so I'm going to give you some questions here, and you can use these as journal prompts to help you get to the heart of who you are and what your unique message is. So as I'm sharing these questions, if there's one that resonates with you, like, oh, that's what I need to figure out, then write these down. Okay. If you're in a place to write them down. If you're not, come back to and catch the replay. Okay. So the first thing you want to look at is, what do you dislike about your field or your industry? Like, what needs to change? That's a great question to ask, depending on what field you're in. What is it that you dislike about it? Because that's going to tell you there's something that you have to offer that's not there. All right. So that's the first question. What do you dislike about your field or your industry? Another question would be, what do you say to your business colleagues or peers that maybe you're afraid to admit out loud to others? So you might say it in, say, a mastermind with your colleagues, but you're not really speaking to it publicly. Okay, sorry, I'm getting some little pop-ups over here. So distracting me. All right, next question would be, why do you do what you do? Huge. What's the real reason that you do what you do? That one, above any of the others so far, is one that all of you should be looking at. Why do you do what you do? What is that real reason? Also, what is it that you believe you do differently than others in your field? And if you can't figure that out, I actually would ask you to put a comment in the comments below. I'd love to know who that is, because I want to have a whole conversation around that in a separate training, but because you all have something unique to bring to the table. All right. But what is it, if you know it, what is it that you believe you have that's different from others in your field? Another one is, what do you really want to say? What do you truly want to say that maybe you're not saying right now? Okay. And another way to come at this is to look at what is very annoying to you about the field that you're in, or annoying to you about your industry. Okay. Another question would be, what do you see as your unique talents that only you have? They're there. That's another one. If you don't know what it is, put it in the comments. It will help me to know what another training would be on, because these things are important. All right. What unique talents do only you have? And by the way, I'd love to hear those of you who know this, what you want to say, what your real reason is for being in business, what your talents are. Share it in the comments, whether you're here with me live or replay. I would love to see that. All right. Another one would be, what did the former version of you really need to know? Because here's what happens. Normally, or a lot of times, the work that we're doing now is because of our past. Okay. And so if you were to look at the former version, the past version of you from where you stand today, what did that version really need to know? Or what did that version need to hear in order to move forward in the work that you're doing, whatever that area of expertise is that you have? Okay. It's a good way to look at it as well. Another clue. Then, of course, not only it's similar to the question I asked a minute ago about what unique talents do you have, but what experiences make you uniquely qualified to do the work you do? It could be what you've gone through in the past. That could be your story. And this is where it can start to come together, that, what you do is based on your story, which then became the why you're in business, right? So what are those experiences that make you uniquely qualified? And what do you advocate for? Oh my gosh, what do you advocate for? What do you advocate against? A great place to look. All right. And if you could be, last question, if you could be completely uncensored with zero backlash, what's one thing that you would want to say? Okay. You know what? Here's what I'd love to do. If any of you would like a list of these questions, put list in the comments. In fact, put hashtag list in the comments. And then what I'll do is I'll make sure that you get a copy of these questions. Okay. So whether you're live or on the replay, put it in the comments. We do go back and look at all these comments. So we're seeing you, even if we don't do it right here in the red hot moment. All right. Your message, by the way, might not come directly from these questions, the answers, but they will get your wheels turning. Okay. It will activate something within you that will help kind of lift the fog around what your messaging is. So the other thing about your messaging, just so you know, finding your message does require that you dig deep into who you are. This isn't going to necessarily happen overnight. Okay. And it's worth spending the time on to hone it and refine it and come back to it. I would challenge all of you. If you have your message, go back and look at it and see if it could be honed and refined. If you don't yet have your message or it's unclear, take the time that you need to do it. You don't need to rush this. The other thing you can do is once you've got something that feels pretty good, take it, test it, start putting it out there. And then as you do, it will become even more clearer, and then you will go back and refine and hone it. Okay. So I want to see this as a living organism. It's not something that you slap down on paper and you're done, right? That's why over time, sometimes this can change. And these questions, these questions work especially well for those of you who've gone through similar struggles that maybe your divine clients go through. But the truth is, absolutely every business has a message. Anyone who's in business has a message, whether you know it or not. Part of my message is that on a practical level is I take a stand for creating premium offers to attract high-end clients right off the bat. Whether you're new or experienced, you can do this. You do not have to wait. Instead of advocating clients to start with a tiny priced offer and then build to a next level offer and a next level offer. It's called a funnel, right? You can start at the top. And I am a huge advocate for that, right? I learned a long time ago that you can get really burned out trying to sell enough of the low end programs and services to pay your bills. And then you can't sustain your business because you're not making enough to pay your bills. So now you're not there in business anymore, and you're not available for the very folks you've got a passion and a calling to help. So let's see, an outside of the box example would be a candle company that has curse words on it. Okay. That's not my, I don't use curse words so much. I might say one or two here and there, but they're soft. Okay. That's just not my brand. Other people have a brand with curse words and it works very well for them. Okay. So there's no right or wrong here. It's just what's for you. So there's this candle company and they have curse words on their jars, right? And the message is all about how self-care can be fun and funny, and it doesn't have to be woo-woo, right? Their content, though, so it's fun, it's lighthearted, and even though it uses curse words to get your attention, which of course it does, and especially the way they do it, which is fun, it still touches on and leaves the valuable message around self-care, right? It gets the message through. Humor, of course, does the same thing. Sometimes you have to start sharing the answers to the questions that I gave you just a minute so that you can hone in on that overarching message. So sometimes you want to keep just coming back to them. So if you want a list of those questions, just pop a list in the comments and I'll make sure you guys get that. All right. So how do you know when you've got the message, right? Your true, authentic message. And you'll know it not by being in your head. You'll know it from your heart. It will feel like, that feels good to really say out loud even. Okay, there's this resonance that happens when you feel it. And it will feel like the thing that, this is my message and this is what I've been meant to do all along. And this is what I've been meant to say all along. But sometimes it either wasn't clear or you might have even been scared to. I was scared to talk about the fact that I was connecting and channeling my guides. Like I thought it was going to scare away my followers. And what I learned was that it actually brought me closer to them. Will it bring me closer to lots of people? No. Do I still stand loud and proud in what I know and what I take a stand for? Yes. Does that mean I repel people? Absolutely. And I want that because I'm not going to be a pretzel. I don't want to be all things to all people. I want to be who I am truly. And then those you attract will be your quality people, right? So your message is going to feel meaningful. It will feel genuine. It will feel inspiring to you. And it will feel like a hell yes. Oh, see, curse word. Hell yes. And so you want to make way for those hell yes clients, right? and those collaborators that align with you and want to work with you. So my big message is that you need to integrate all of you in your business and in your message, okay, in everything that you're doing. You cannot compartmentalize yourself and be successful. And if you've been doing that, I would say go back, and it can feel, it takes a little bit of courage to say, oh my God, am I really going to bring all this together? Yes. And sometimes that's being vulnerable maybe about where you went, especially if your story is how you help your own clients today. But what I've found is that it's this integration of your energy alignment and inner guidance with the proven business strategies that are working today that creates the greatest success. That's what I take a stand for. Okay. And you get to build a business that's aligned with your spirit and values. Cookie cutter will not work. And especially for those of you who follow me, man, if anybody wasn't a cookie, you guys are not cookies. All right. You are magnificent, beautiful facets of the diamond of humanity. And that means you are unique. And what you bring to the table is unique. And the truth is that your audience can tell when someone is messaging from their soul and absolutely believes in what they're doing and what they're saying, and someone who doesn't. So just imagine if you didn't feel like you had to put on a facade or put on or mask before you start to write your content or before you go live. Imagine if you didn't feel exhausted after creating content. That will tell you if you're aligned or not as well. If it's feeling hard to write or to create that content, it's because you're not aligned. All right. Or if you're feeling resistance to having those conversations to make offers, sales calls. Imagine if you stopped having an overwhelming urge to take a day off because you know you're doing your life's work. You don't want to take the day off. It feels so good. You're so inspired. All of that is what is at stake when you're not willing to take a stand and stand in your truth. And in your truth is how you share your message. All right. So the next step in this is to learn to squash those fears that's standing in your truth. Like you're afraid to stand in your truth, right? So think about your business or even your personal life. Do you feel safe saying exactly how you feel about any given topic, or do you think about how others might receive that message before you say it? Okay. Do you write a long, lengthy Facebook post and then you delete it because you're afraid you're going to attract trolls or those folks that don't believe in the same way that you do? In today's age of online warriors, I guess I'll call them, who are so quick to call complete strangers names and to start a war of words, it's easy to feel like your freedom of speech is being squashed. And of course, we've seen a lot of that over this past year. But you cannot give your power away by letting what's going on out there and those that don't agree with you shut you down. You don't need to push against them. You don't even need to try to convince them. You need to stand in your own power, and those who align with your message will find their way to you. You will be that beacon of light for them. I hope this is making sense. Okay, well, I wish I could see what is happening here, but I can't. Oh, wait, hark. I think I just found it. Guys, this is all because I was doing that timer today and I haven't figured out, so it was covering up all your comments. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yay. Hey, Annette, good to see you. Hey, Betty. Oh my gosh. Hey, Mary Foreverdom. I like that. Hey, Terry. Oh, see? Okay, now I'm feeling good. Hey, Jody. Good to see you. Awesome. Okay, I definitely have got to go back and make sure that I am checking out all of your comments, guys. But now I've got it sitting here so I can start to see them. All right. So here is the deal. We are conditioned to fear sharing our truth boldly or saying anything that matters. Our brains are literally wired to keep us safe. It wants to keep us safe and to belong. because belonging used to literally mean survival, right? If you can remember from your childhood, the old adage, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Well, that has its place, but not in your messaging, not when you're taking your stand. Or how about the one, children are meant to be seen, not heard? There's another one a lot of us grew up with. And so many spiritual entrepreneurs fall into these traps of staying silent because they don't want to ostracize themselves from their market. But giving feedback to followers is helping them see a different perspective. I want you to see a different perspective. I want you to understand it's important that you integrate your inner guidance with all that you're doing in your business. I want you to understand that you can attract and be working with high-end clients right off the bat, whether you've been in business a day or if you've been in the business a decade, right? And so this is an opportunity to help others see a different perspective, and those who resonate, great. If you don't agree, that's okay too. I'm here for those who resonate with this. Those are the people that I'm here to help. And speaking out about causes that are important to you is also powerful, as well as sharing something personal so that you're sharing the personal side of you, all right? And these examples could also cause stress, and they could cause anxiety, because especially as coaches and healers and spiritual entrepreneurs, we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to be one of those people, right? And it makes perfect psychological sense why so many spiritual entrepreneurs have this deep-seated fear that if they say what's in their heart, people will reject them, stemming from what they learned in childhood usually. And then these ideas are compounded by their adult experiences of getting into online arguments, or someone saying something online that about them, or some kind of negative feedback, right? And add in the feeling of being a people pleaser, which we tend to be, because we just want to make nice, and we don't want to lose friends, and we don't want to lose followers, and we don't want to lose clients. And of course, so then you can understand why sharing your true message and taking a stand for what you are here in the world to be can kick up all kinds of fears. Fears of visibility, fears of success, even fear of rejection, for sure. I mean, you name it. And each one of these will hold you back from the very success you're looking for. The truth is that almost all marketing, or the most powerful marketing, I should say, actually does alienate people. And that can sound scary. But the good news is there's just as much positive support as well. All right. The people who do not vibe with your true message will fall away. Let them have their opinions. It has nothing to do with you. Consider the source. All right. Just consider the source. And the people who do are going to be very attracted to you. Those are the people who are going to stick around. These people are your divine market, and in that divine market are your divine clients. Something about your message resonates with them. Those are the people who want more of you. They want to hear more from you. You've got the knowledge, and you've got your unique style that they like. And so they naturally want to learn from you. And so just remember this mantra: I'm not for everyone, and neither are you. Okay? I'm not for everyone, and neither are you. And here's the thing: you will never be too much for the right people. Your people are ready for your truth. They're hungry for your truth. Your people will follow you to the ends of the earth because of your authenticity. So if you think about the difference in, let's say, the big box retail stores like Walmart as an example, Target is another one. They make billions and billions of dollars every year because they cater to the millions and millions of people who are looking to save money and get discounts on household items, basically, mostly. So who do you think is shopping at these stores? People who resonate with that. You're not going to see the Hiltons probably in Walmart or Target. You're not going to see celebrities, probably. Now that's broad. Some people are in there, but you know what I'm saying? The celebrities, they're not worrying about saving money. They probably don't have to look at price tags either. So they're not necessarily shopping at the discount retailers. That's not important to them. In their world, it's the designer everything that can be important, the swanky boutiques. And so the messages of the swanky boutiques are going to be very different from a Target and a Walmart. And they're going to attract and repel different people, as it should be. And as it should be for you as well. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that watching the wrong people fall away may not feel a little like, oh, somebody just unsubscribed. Oh my gosh, this one is a lot. Stop getting notices about your unsubscribes, okay, on your mailing list. Get notices every time somebody subscribes, but get off the notices for the unsubscribes. You know how I feel about it? That they're unsubscribing, they're not resonating anyway, so there was nothing lost. It was just a number on your mailing list. Do you get that? They were not your audience anyway. I call it a self-cleaning mailing list when that happens, like my self-cleaning oven, right? So you don't get caught up in that. Don't let that take you down. So instead of dwelling on the dropping numbers, remember, these unsubscribes are simply not your people. The people who leave, if you have a Facebook group or a community and people leave, they're not resonating, or at least not right now. It's okay. You don't want a lot of people who are not your ideal clients, okay? You don't want them staying on a list just for the sake of having a sized list of a certain size, right? They could stay on your list for 10 years and never spend $1. And they're not opening your email, and that's creating repercussions because you've got emails that are not being opened. Anyway, I'd rather have them leave than to not be opening, so that my list is clean and it's quality, right? So you do want subscribers and followers to love what you offer and to buy it up, or you are going to just have a high number of subscribers that is dead weight. We don't want dead weight, guys. I'd rather have 10 good subscribers than 1 million bad any day of the week. And if you're truly driven to experience this level of self-expression and authenticity in your work, then there's no other way to do that than to niche down and not try to be all things to all people. This is scary. I know this is scary for a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, but you need to identify who is that divine market, and then you craft your authentic and true message to them. It's a perfect match, right? When you feel bad about what you might see as you're losing in terms of followers or subscribers, you need to focus back on what you're gaining. And that is a quality list of followers, or that is a quality group of people on social media, all right? These are the people who are following you who want to be. These are the people who understand you. These are the people who resonate with you. Those are the only ones in the world you ever want to be worried about. Not worried, but you ever want to be focused on. The rest, let them go, all right? And when you truly care about your message and the people that that's meant to serve, those people in turn begin to care about you. And that's where the know, like, and trust factor increases. Visibility is not just about being seen by people. It's about attracting and connecting with the right people. And you can't do that if you have a watered down message. Speak up for the people who need to hear you. Let them know they're not alone. Let them know there's someone who can help them with their problems or their issues or their challenges, or to get them to the next level, whatever it is that you do for your market, all right? Have you ever considered that the thing you're most afraid to share might actually lead to your biggest opportunities? Or at least it will lead to something good. You might be surprised by the feedback you receive when you share from your heart. You might be surprised at how many say, that's me too, especially if you felt like it was something that you were alone in, and you help them understand they're not alone as well. A lot of times coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs, they're afraid to share because they don't want to get any negative feedback. But what about all the positive feedback you receive? It's two sides of a coin. It's two sides of a coin. You can't have one without the other. And so, yes, let those come and let them fall away. It's okay. Some of your followers are going to have an aha moment after reading your latest post or Facebook Live or one of your emails. And maybe that post will go viral and it's going to attract, I don't know, a JV partner with an amazing opportunity for you. I've had some similar situations to that happen to a couple of the clients in my Enlightened Business Success Academy. They were putting themselves out there and then someone saw them and reached out to them, right? So that's what can happen when you're being in your authentic self and not being afraid to be who you are. And those who are resonating with you, clients, followers, opportunities can show up that could not show up if you weren't, okay? Maybe your next program will sell out in minutes because you fine-tune your message and you are attracting the right people. So how exactly do you start, especially if this is all new to you? First of all, you gotta conquer that gremlin, all right? That inner critic that we have. When you go to share something new, the most negative feedback might even come from you, all right? Usually that's what's happening. The most negative feedback is gonna be in your own brain. That is your gremlin. That's your gremlin. We have gremlin on one shoulder, guidance on the other. The gremlin's loud and obnoxious. Guidance is all as well, right? So know that this is going to happen. Just know it's going to happen and prepare for it. So when thoughts come up like, but I can't say that. Ooh, I had that. I can't say that. I can't talk about inner guidance. I can't talk about channeling. I can't talk about energy. Oh, but yes, I can. That was my gremlin. That was my gremlin. And so you want to counter that with a more positive thought and you keep going. One of the things that I do is when I recognize that's showing up with my gremlin, thank you for sharing and step to the left, right? So now I know that I can shift back to what's truly resonating in my heart and the more positive thoughts, okay? And if you honestly believe in your message and the value of your programs and services and the mission of your business, hey, those negative thoughts, they just lose power. They just lose power. So truly, stop looking at who unfollows. Yes. Stop looking at those unfollows on social media. It's okay. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Have you not ever unsubscribed from a list? Have you not ever unfollowed someone or unfriended someone? See, it works both ways. And so we just know that, yes, it's self-cleaning. Everything is aligning. There's nothing that's gone wrong. And that's where we go. We go like, oh my God, what's wrong? Something's wrong. No, something's very right. And so that's what more alignment. I'm getting more aligned with the right people. Okay. All right. So much good stuff. I'll have to definitely catch up with all these comments in a little bit. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to ease your way into this, okay? You can plan on feeling scared, plan on it being awkward at first. That's okay. Treat yourself well with self-care. Help yourself physically and mentally and energetically so that you can move forward, all right? Take baby steps. Baby steps, I am a huge proponent of baby steps, one step at a time. Chapter in my book, Life Lessons for Mastering the Law of Attraction, called Baby Steps Lead to Avalanches. All right. Baby steps are powerful. Take those steps towards speaking your truth, the real raw truth, until you can get used to that. Okay. Third, surround yourself with people who are also passionate about authentic communication. These might be your colleagues, your business peers. It could be JV partners. It could be your mastermind friends. Their positive attitudes about authenticity are going to wear off on you as yours will wear off on them. It's a wonderful thing. All right. And the more that you are in company of that, the easier it is for you to get out there and to speak your truth in a very authentic way. And with practice, conveying that authentic message of yours just becomes easier and easier and easier. All right. The fourth thing is to get comfortable by expressing one viewpoint or a vulnerable story. All right. Being vulnerable with your followers is what makes you human. You don't have to go straight to creating content about the deepest, darkest thing that's ever happened to you. That's what I'm not talking about. And sometimes that might be something you'll never share in public. But there are some small things, and there are some very important things that have happened to you over time that has had you become who you are today, helping the people that you help. You do want to share those. They help your followers see you as a real human being, and a real human being with a heart, instead of just a business person or just a coach or just an entrepreneur. You're letting them in. You're letting them in. And if there's anything that people are craving more than anything else today, it is that human heart-to-heart connection. They don't want the facade. They don't want the perfection. Thank God. I would not be here today if that was the way it was. Anyway, so be willing to do that. Get comfortable by sharing your story and being vulnerable. And number 5 is just remind yourself of all of your accomplishments. We don't pay attention to that. We don't see. We're so down in the ditches or the trenches of our life. We don't see from the 400,000 foot level what we've done and what we've created. And so remind yourself of those accomplishments. You might need to remind yourself, why am I more qualified than someone else to do this? Because of my experiences. That's why. Because of what I know now. And it's especially true for you to do this. Go back to your accomplishments and why you're so good at what you do and why you're qualified if you've received some negative feedback or some comment somewhere. Okay. Do not let those take you down. All right. I know that one of my clients was devastated because she had some negative comments on her book on Amazon. And you're going to get those. If you're going to get visible, you're going to get those. And from my perspective, it's like, you have arrived, okay? You finally got some naysayers, so good for you. That's how you want to look at it. Do not give it the power it does not deserve. Do not give your power away, okay? I know they can hit hard, and it can sometimes cause a lot of self-doubt. But when these things happen, first of all, if you have a coach or a mentor, you talk to them. If you've got friends, you talk to them. Go back and read. If you have testimonials, go read your testimonials. And let me tell you something else that you can do. And I've done this, which I love. When someone has something nice to say or that really resonates with you, or you've made a difference in their lives, I have in my email inbox, I have a folder called Heart, right? It's called Heart. Highly vibrate. Oh gosh, I don't remember what it stands for. But anyway, the bottom line is it's highly vibrating emails, right? It's my highly vibrating emails. And if I'm feeling down or like, oh my gosh, really, what is wrong with me? Or I just got a negative comment on something, I can go read those and it will immediately shift me back into remembering who I am. And that's what you want to do too. Remember who you are. You are not that comment. Okay. And besides, we don't know what was going on with those people. They could have been having a hard day. That's the other thing. I always assume the best. And so the flip side of this, of course, is that instead of trying to win everyone over that you meet or that you connect with, focus only on those who resonate with what you have to offer. Focus on your divine market. Focus on your followers and those subscribers who are loyal to you, who are resonating with what you have to offer. Okay. Next step, you want to turn that message of yours into an ultra compelling set of content. This is where you're going to pull your content. Okay. This is where you get your content that you're going to share. So you nail down the authentic message, or you get a few key viewpoints out of the message. Usually it's not just one thing, right? And now you can turn that into valuable content. So think about your message as being kind of the backbone of all of the content and the posts and the things that you share. Each piece of the content does not have to explicitly state your message, okay? It just needs to be the backbone. It needs to be the foundation from which the message or the content comes from. Does that make sense? So you can share your personal story. You could share how-tos, so educational content that teaches your audience how to do something. I share, and everything that I'm sharing on my Facebook Lives and my posts, it comes from my message. I'm not always stating my message, but everything stems from what I take a stand for, right? You can share inspirational content, so you can have quotes. You can have thoughts on things that you're seeing out there in your area of expertise, whether you agree with it or not, and why. Things that are related to what you do. All good content usually it will have a lesson or an insight or an aha or a new perspective or a realization in it that others will glean from it. So that's what makes it valuable. Okay. You can share that you had a great day on the beach today, but what's the learning in that? Right? The learning could be that it's the simple things in life. You don't need to have, the expensive cars and places to be and extravagant vacations to find yourself in peace, right? I just made that up. So, but you get the point, right? So providing valuable content is what's going to attract your people to you and make it worth their while. They're learning something. There is that lesson or that aha or that shift in perspective. Okay. Now, how do you decide what to share? You share your business stories and the realizations and lessons you've learned. That's a great way to share lessons with others, things that you've learned as a result of that. You can share case studies. You can share your client stories. You can share content that you pull straight out of your programs. I do that all the time. You can share, talking about the programs, don't ever be afraid of giving too much away. That is not possible. The Enlightened Business Success Academy, you could be in that program for 3 or 4 years and still not get everything out of it. So I am going to pull the best of the best out of that and offer it in a lot of the things that I do. And it's going to be happening in the Attracting High-End Client Workshop that's coming up soon as well. But I'm going to give it to you. I want to give you what's valuable and what's working. I want to give that to you. I don't have to worry about giving too much away. Put yourself in your divine client's shoes. Put yourself in their shoes and then speak to them, speak to their dreams, their desires, speak to their challenges, speak to their issues, speak to how you can help them, give them a way to help them right there. Even if it's an instant win, you're not going to be able to give them a whole year's worth of stuff or even 5 weeks or 2 weeks worth of stuff if you've got short programs like that. But you can give them something of value. And don't worry about the vanity metrics, all right? You do not need 1 million followers. You only need engaged followers, right? You need people who believe in your message, who need to hear your message. And remember, a smaller but engaged list or a smaller but engaged level of followers or number of followers is way more profitable than a super large unmotivated list who don't resonate and are not even in your divine market. Okay. So you can experiment with your content to see what your audience responds to, and you can then do more of that. In the Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur group, I have a survey. I did a poll. One of the top thing was how to master your message. So what am I doing? I'm giving you a training on how to master your message, right? I'm listening, and you want to listen too. So step 4 of all of this is now to tell the stories that shows the real you. Share those stories. Share the bumps and the lumps and the warts. Share the flaws. All right. They want to know that you're a human being. And storytelling is a skill to learn if you want to master the art of messaging and content creation. It just means you're just showing and you're just opening up your heart to them. You're showing them a private side. It might be, you might even show them like a behind the scenes with you. That's something that's, I know a lot of people say, well, people ask, what's a day in the life of Eva look like? So I could show a behind the scenes of what it looks like, from the time I get up in the morning to answering my emails to how I come up with my content. These stories don't have to be pretty and polished. I keep coming back to that. But they need to be truthful and authentic. Sometimes your stories to yourself might feel like they're boring. Like, okay, I've lived through it. But that quote, boring story of yours could be the very inspiration that somebody needs. Somebody that will hear your story and then make a bold jump or a shift in their own lives. So don't let the boring factor dissuade you from sharing. It's actually the inspiration that someone else, the right people, need to hear. Okay, so be willing to share your challenges and what you've gone through to get where you are. That makes you more trustworthy to your followers. We assume someone who's willing to share their vulnerability and their challenges is probably telling the truth, right? There's just there's a level of intimacy that you don't get when you're trying to look good all the time, okay, and only share the bright, shiny pieces. And so transparency we're craving this, guys. We are craving this human connection, the heart-to-heart connection, the transparency, the authenticity. And it is so refreshing, especially from those that we look up to. Don't you want those people? I do. I want them to be in their authenticity. If I just saw them perfect and in performance mode all the time, I can't relate. And unfortunately, the human instinct is to hide our vulnerabilities, to hide our mistakes, and to hide our challenges. So those who are willing to own up to just not being perfect are more willing to tell it like it is. You'll hear me say that all the time. Just tell it like it is. Tell it like it is. You don't need to sugarcoat it. But when it comes to giving advice and feedback that, folks that you can create transformation for, you can help them in their own growth, that's what they need. And that's what we need. We all need. A final word of caution about this. When you're sharing your stories about your challenges or your mistakes, make sure you're sharing from the perspective of the learning that came from that, okay? Be sure you're on the other side of that shift or that challenge or that obstacle or mistake, because that's where the learning came from. Here's where it was, guys. I've been where you are. I was in the deep, dark hole, and this is what I did to come to the other side, and now I'm here to help you do that too. So you can share. You can definitely share. I share mine all the time. All right. Just make sure that you are, like I said, on the other side of it. I forget what someone said is, oh, shoot. If I remembered, I'll post it. It was something about making sure you're sharing the scar and not the scab. That sounds disgusting, but you know what I mean? Like you're on the other side of it. So there, enough about that. And then step 5 is you want to talk to your audience about anything that's coming up during a crisis or standing up for a social issue that's coming up. Like, you are the leader, you guys. We are all leaders to our followers. And communication is key to having that healthy relationship. And that includes the relationship you're building with your clients, your subscribers, your social followers. And so when there are important things that are coming up, those issues are coming up, you cannot just gloss over them. All right. You can be tactfully talking to your audience, but you need to speak to it. Right now, dealing with the global COVID pandemic is a perfect example of this. Back in March, when all of this started, and then April and May, things were coming up. You better believe I was doing Facebook Lives, and I was sharing with people how to cope with this, what to look for. How do you, when your energy is going down, when you're in fear, what do we do? How do we take care of this and take care of ourselves and take care of our clients? All right. So you want to be able to do that for your people as well. Now, at the level at which you do this is 100% based on you. You do what feels right for you. Okay. If you want to be a true leader in your field, don't be afraid to talk to your market about what may be coming up. Now, you're not a mind reader, so don't sit back and try to guess how things are affecting them. You can ask them. Ask your audience about their opinions. Ask the audiences and really listen to their answers, especially if it's a topic. It might even be a topic that's new to you, but you know that there's something they're dealing with. Okay. Ask what they need. Ask what their fears are. Don't try to guess. Listen to those fears and concerns. Take notes. Knowing what's going on inside your audience's head is going to be top priority when it comes to you relating to them. And it's also great for creating useful, valuable content. So straight out asking can help you to know what it is that's most important for them and how you can most help them, even from moment to moment, depending on circumstances, right? Acknowledge the turmoil. You don't sweep things under the rug. Don't pretend something's there and put your head in the ground like an ostrich. You want to talk about the situation, but you talk about it in a constructive way, in a positive way, not the divisiveness that we've seen on social media. That's not the way to do it. We want to come at it from a more positive way. We want to encourage civil conversations without the name calling and without the divisiveness. And you want to listen carefully to both sides and admit when you learn something new, or if you didn't have all the facts initially. Once again, it's just being authentic, right? And you lead your followers during the times of upheavals. People are feeling unsure. This past year, for sure, they have. People have felt unsure, and they are looking for those who are willing to step up and stand their ground around what they believe, even when the ground is shaky. And leading does not have to come across, nor should it come across, as this condescending, know-it-all way. That's not what I'm talking about. You're showing support, you're showing solidarity, you're showing a we're in this together approach. Does this make sense? I hope so. And then you add value, and then you continue to show up for your followers. You do not ghost them, especially during tumultuous times. And if your message relates at all to what's happening, or you can see how it might relate to what is happening, be even more present than ever before. Be more accessible so that you can lend your support to your followers. You want to be the walking, talking example of how to continue to show up and live life the best you can, even during a crisis. That can be very comforting to your people. And then decide what action you'll take or you're not going to take. And the truth is, you can decide to ignore all of this, and you can just do what feels right for you. And I always ask you to go inside and do what's right for you, for sure. Because being a leader is about forging your own path as well. And if you'd rather wait to speak, that's your decision. If you need a break, that's your decision. If you'd like to pause your promotions because of things going on, then that's a choice you get to make. But whatever your decision is, you do it for yourself and your followers, not because you're following the crowd. Does that make sense? This is why standing in your authentic message and sharing your truth is so important. And when you do, you will have those who will flock to you. So go back to your message. Remember what you stand for, and you keep that message at the forefront of what you do in your business. It might not make sense for you to speak on a particular issue. That's okay too. All right. And if you are someone, though, who your big message is talking about self-expression and helping people to be self-expressed, as an example, and then you disappear when someone is ridiculing you for being in self-expression, now you're going to be questioned. Like you're not walking your talk. So you want to make sure that you are always standing in your truth. That's really the bottom line. And when you're talking to your audience, remember that you're not expected to have all the answers. This is the good news. You do not have to have all the answers, but you can be that beacon of hope that your followers are seeking comfort in, right? Do some research if you need to. Share resources with your audience. That's what I did last year, all during the whole COVID thing. I was doing my research and I was sharing. So I didn't have the answers, but I shared what I did know as I came to know it. You can facilitate meaningful discussions on social media. You can even do that in your private groups, or you can just share your emotions. You can just share how you're feeling. Your audience is going to resonate with that. They will trust you because of your authenticity, especially during difficult times. And then finally, number 6 is you've got to stop feeling scared to sell and own the value of your unique offers. Oh my gosh. I always thought that making offers would be the worst job in the world, because now I'm asking people to buy my stuff, right? And I know a lot of you, especially heart-centered entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, spiritual entrepreneurs, and we have this in our minds that we don't want to, once again, people pleasers, we don't want to be aggressive. We don't be assertive. We have the image of the used car salesperson, right? Who is just wanting to move the cars. We're seeing like sales is sleazy and manipulative. No, it's not, unless you decide you're going to do it that way. That's the only way. But in general, that's a story. There's infinite number of ways. And I've come to realize that making offers, which does equate to making sales, does not have to be scary or pressure filled. That is not my way of doing anyway. So consider it instead as simply having a conversation with someone you can help. You are passing your appetizer tray. You're letting them know how good these appetizers are, and you're offering it. And they can either accept your appetizer or they don't. I teach my soul-centered conversations that converts process in the Enlightened Business Success Academy because I was repelled by the typical sales conversations. And I knew there was a better way. There is a way to meet your folks heart to heart, soul to soul, and have them appreciate the conversation with you and then be eager to work with you. Mastering your message is because we want to feel good about who we're showing up as and what we're offering in our businesses. And quite frankly, you are in business, all right? Businesses are meant to make money. Businesses are meant to be profitable. And a business requires sales to be profitable, okay? And unfortunately, one big mistake spiritual entrepreneurs make is being afraid to talk about what their programs and services are and actually making that offer. You can have 1 million people following you, but if nobody knows what you do or how they can work with you, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And those who connect with what you're saying will stick around. Focus your offers and your products on what your divine market needs, why you got into business to begin with, the passion that you have for the difference you want to make in their lives, and you will continuously attract more people to you. The good news is when you are clear on your true message, posting or emailing content that shows people who you really are and what you really think, it's going to eliminate a lot of that fear because you're just standing in what you know is true. You're standing in your passion. And it doesn't feel like selling when that is what you're doing. People already know what to expect. So you don't have to put on an act to make an offer. Like, yeah, you have things to offer. Yes, you have ways that you can help people. And now, would they like your appetizer? That's what you're just passing your appetizer tray. So you don't have to pretend to do things a certain way or to be a certain way. You don't need to sound slick, that's for sure. Just have the confidence in the value of your programs and services and be clear in your messaging. That is it. When you've got that solid foundation, this part is easy. It is easy. And it comes down to truly believing in yourself and believing in your programs and services and knowing that they change lives. Guys, if you are following me, I know that what you're doing changes lives. I have seen evidence of it in so many of you. Certainly in the clients in the Enlightened Business Success Academy. Oh my goodness, you are changing lives. Own that. Not from an egotistical place, but in your heart and knowing this is what you're on this planet to do. If you are struggling with this, I would recommend you make a list of 50 reasons, come up with 50 reasons why what you offer is helpful for your clients and the world. Because it's a ripple effect. You're working with the folks you work with, but I'm telling you, it's a ripple effect that goes out from there. So you get a notebook, you get a journal, and you start writing. And as your list gets longer, you're going to start to see the intrinsic value in what you do and what you offer. And that's going to help give you that increased confidence that's going to carry across energetically across your emails. It's going to carry across your social posts, and it's going to excite your followers and your divine market. And make sure not to skip a very simple technique, but a very simple action, I guess, is in your posts and your emails, always have a call to action. A call to action in your content. Tell your readers or listeners exactly what to do. That, in other words, it doesn't have to be buy my stuff. That's not what I'm talking about, but get used to having a call to action. It doesn't have to be designed to get them to purchase. It can be to connect with you further on something. It can be to read this blog post. It could be to watch this recent podcast interview. So it doesn't have to be designed to get them to buy. So get that out of your mind. Call to action. If that's the only time you're ever making a call to action is buy my stuff, then that's where you're kind of out of balance. So get used to giving them calls to action. All right. Ask them to comment. I asked you to comment and share here. That's a call to action. All right. What else? Ask them to click a link in your bio. Or to send you a direct message even. All of these are calls to actions. And as you're thinking about that, you can even work backwards. What do you want people to be doing? When they're reading your post, what do you want them to get out of it? I even, in my emails that go out, I'm saying, oh my gosh, if you do this, let me know how it went for you. Just hit reply, and let me know, and I'll be sure to respond to you personally. I always let them know that because I want them to know that I'm not just saying this in a standalone email campaign, and it is automated clearly, but that I'm reading these things. I'm reading messages that come back to me. Okay. So calls to action are just another way to create that more intimate connection with your followers. And the more you show up authentically, the more you say what you truly want to say, and therefore you stand out with a heartfelt message where you take a stand, the more people you will have following you, the more people will show up in your divine market who understand you. And many of those will want to work with you. And that means it becomes easier and easier and easier to convert followers into clients. Okay. And I'm going to be going into a lot more details and all of this kind of thing in the upcoming Attracting High-End Clients workshop. So if you haven't signed up for that, I highly recommend you do. I would love to have you there. I've just got so much to share. I'm going to be going back through the comments here to see what comes out of that. And I will be responding to you in those comments in the same way I say in my emails. I will be sure to respond to you personally. I do, because it fills my soul to have this kind of interaction. So I hope you've gotten value out of the training today. If so, let me know in the comments. Any questions you have, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't signed up for the Attracting High-End Clients workshop that's coming up, highly recommend you do that. That would be my call to action for the end of this. It's at attractinghighendclients.com is where you would sign up. We are doing something brand new this time coming up. We're going to have a whole separate section every single day of the workshop for VIP, where we're going to get on Zoom with those of you who choose to join the VIP. I call it the VIP Winner's Circle, but it's the VIP. And that will be on Zoom so that we can actually interact and we can see each other and I can coach you. And it's going to be working about your money and cash infusions and growing your business and positioning you to attract high-end clients. All of that good stuff. All of that good stuff is coming up. So I hope you'll join me for that. If you want to help scale your business to 6 figures or beyond even, with high-end clients and premium offers, one of the stands that I take, right? Come on down, come join us. All right, everyone, it's been fantastic having you here. Love that I can finally see the comments. Looking forward to doing more of these trainings for you and seeing you inside the Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur Group. Big, big heart hugs. Lots of love. Bye for now.